So today's class is going to be focusing on waking up the subtle core. And just like the word subtle suggests, this means it's going to be a little harder to feel, right? So my recommendations as we move our limbs, our arms, and our legs to bring more awareness to our shoulders and our hips and the way they relate to the core is to move slowly, to not worry so much about big movements, but rather like really feel how the limbs relate back to the center. And each time we repeat things, we'll have the opportunity for more musculature to come online so we have more support and more ease. And of course, I will tell you to do all those things throughout, but it's always nice to plant the seed so you know what to focus on. So with that, well, everyone looks like they're in such a beautiful cross-legged position. So I guess we should just start in the wonderful positions that each of you have already found for yourself. And so if you need to make any adjustments so that you feel more comfortable, feel free to do so. And then just close the eyes and let the weight of the body start to settle. And imagine the energy that's usually in the mind, usually in the thoughts and planning of your day and your life. Imagine that energy just starting to pool down in your base. So you literally can feel more in the hips and legs and think less in the mind. And as you start to feel your base of support more, notice if there's a lot of weight in the hips, a lot of weight in the feet, and take a moment to rock forward and back and see if you can find a place that feels really evenly supported without any strain. And then come to rest in a single plane for a moment. And let your focus shift towards the breath. And just notice the natural flow of the breath coming into and filling the body, adding any sense of spaciousness and ease, receptivity. And then let the breath go. And almost ride that wave of the exhalation, allowing the physical body to soften, letting the thoughts release. It's almost like sighing with your whole body as you gently exhale. And we'll take several more breaths. And I invite you to bring particular attention to the moment after you exhale. This space of emptiness, where you may actually feel very full of your own presence in the present moment. The clarity of the body. And then just notice from that place of deep presence and clarity how the inhale can just gently flow in effortlessly. It might even feel a little shallow because you're not taking it, you're not grasping it, you're not expanding it. And from this place of clarity, then receptivity will begin to invite very gentle movement. And at first, think of the movement as being just as gentle as the breath, just as natural. And so let's start with those rocking movements that we did at the beginning, just that gentle shift forward and back. Bring your awareness to your sit bones, which are the bottom of the pelvis. You might feel a sort of anchoring or steadiness where your hips meet the earth, and that's probably your sits bones connecting to the ground. As you rock forward, notice the sensation towards the front of the sits bones and then the back of the sits bones. Depending on the openness in your hips, your movement might be just like a millimeter forward, a millimeter back. That's perfect. So there's no force here. There's just an exploration of what is available. And the next time you rock back, can just gently start to do that same thing from side to side. And as you shift from side to side, you might start to notice the side bodies supporting you a little more so you don't fall as you come into asymmetry. And then we'll put both of those motions together as we start to circle. And so it doesn't matter what direction you circle. Start really small, and again, just bring the awareness to the sit bones and feel that gentle rotation. Front of sit bone side, back, and then other side as you rotate. Allow the spine to just naturally follow the circling of the pelvis. So you don't have to make anything happen in the spine, but allow it to almost spill out of the pelvis. Can be soft here, which sometimes might be similar to the experience of slouching, but more conscious. Nice, everybody. And then eventually give yourself permission to change directions, but try to feel a moment where you want to go the other direction instead of just waiting for my cue. And again, maybe in the second direction you start a little smaller and then allow the circles to expand as feels appropriate in your body. And at any time, you're welcome to hit play on the first track. And just take one more circle and then find your way back up to seated, and just notice any expanded awareness of your base of support. Perhaps more evenness through the front and the back of the body. And then just gently turn towards your left and scoot so you're a little bit closer to the short edge of the mat so that when you recline, you've got enough space behind you. The legs can extend, and enjoy that moment. It probably feels like a relief after sitting cross-legged. So just let the legs lengthen and glide the hands up and down the legs a couple of times. Just waking up more of our superficial sensors in the front of the body. And then each time you recline a little bit, become aware of a sense of the core supporting you, right? So you don't fall back. And try to feel how the core cylinder of the body actually relates down into the front of the quadriceps. So you can even imagine the legs helping prevent you from falling backward. Can you feel that connection from the center of your body down via the quadriceps all the way down to the feet? And eventually we're making our way onto our back. So if you find yourself there already, Angeli, that's fine. Or you can come all the way back up. We've all had very different days. So honor yourself if you want a little bit more of that core strength or an extra moment to feel soft and supported by the earth. And well, I'll rest now for a moment on the back and allow the earth to receive the weight of your body. And take a moment to trace all the areas contacting the mat below you, the back of the head, the back of the heart, back of the hips and thighs and heels. And again, just notice the breath. And notice any sense of being able to release your grip on your body and your thoughts as you exhale. Slowly snow angel the arms overhead, letting them be heavy on the earth so they're not resisting gravity at all. And once they're reaching overhead, just gently wiggle the fingers and the toes and feel that extra sense of awareness all the way at your extremities. And then bring all that awareness to the long line of your body that connects them. Slowly start to bend knees and elbows so that they touch above you. And then bring your hands to your shins and glide the hands up to the feet for a gliding crunch. And then reverse that motion so hands glide down and actually feel the legs as you go. Soles of the feet down, elbows touch the earth. And then knees slowly open to the side and palms slowly open to the side. Just pause for a moment in Baddha Konasana. And then start to kick out through the legs. And notice as the legs extend, how eventually the toes and the knees point back up to the ceiling. But you don't have to make it happen. It just happens. And then snow angel the arms. Next time we do that, we'll do those two actions together. So start by drawing knees and elbows together. Keep the body heavy. And then as hands contact the shins, gliding crunch up any amount. Feel the limbs anchoring into the core. And then slowly control your way back down. Soles of feet down, elbows down. Let everything gently open without letting go completely. So there's a sense of the thigh bones being connected and supported by the core. And then start to kick through the heels, extending the legs, snow angel the arms up overhead. And we'll do that one last time. Elbows to knees, gliding crunch. Release back down, let the legs stay connected to the core as you open the knees, maybe just a little at first. And then arms and legs extend simultaneously. And now just the left side, so that should be the side away from the screen. Slowly start to bend the left knee and bring the left palm to the quad. Push the quad and hand together so you feel a sense of strengthening without any strain. And just notice that strength connecting the arm and leg via the core. And then keeping that sense of support, let the knees slowly open to the side for fallen tree. And now notice the angle of the thigh bone. Keep the thigh at that angle as you gently kick out through the heel. So the leg extends, but you don't want the hip flexor to do too much work here. So really push through the back of the leg. Let the left arm extend overhead. And then point the left toes. Glide the heel along the mat towards the right leg, but over. And then slowly let the left foot, pull you onto the right side. we're not going to roll all the way over yet. So just point and flex the left foot a couple of times and notice how that shifts the weight in the pelvis forward and back. And then the next time you point the left foot, slowly roll all the way onto the back, left knee up, hand to quad, push hand and foot together. And then keep that strength as you open the knee off to the side. It might not come all the way down to the ground, and that's fine. Extend through the heel, arm overhead. Cross the left leg over. And this time roll all the way over the side. Enjoy the little massage on the side body, and let the left leg keep gliding off to the side. So when you end up on your belly, your right leg is straight back, but your left leg is out at a 45-degree angle, more or less. Slowly start to drag the arms back until they're underneath your shoulders. Gaze down, let the forehead melt. And then keeping the body heavy, keep the hands where they are. Gently drag them back and just notice a sense of the arms anchoring into the torso. Slowly keep all that strength as you peel the body up into a baby cobra, and then keep dragging the hands back so they point straight back. They're not going to go very far, but allow the arms to circle behind you until they reach overhead, and then we'll repeat that movement. So head down, glide the hands back. We're going to call this a backward circle. And then allow that movement to lift you into your baby cobra and let the arms keep circling overhead. Take a few more like this. It's almost like a breaststroke, which I can't do, but I've seen people do it and it kind of looks like this. And as you continue, don't worry about how dramatic the arm circle is. You don't want any strain in the shoulders, so the hands might point more off towards the sides as they circle forward, but just try to feel the strength between the arms and the body as you repeat this. And the next time the hands drag back, when they get to the low part of the ribs, just gently push into the hands to shift the hips all the way back to the right heel. Push down into the right shin, gliding up into table with the leg extended. And take a moment to shift the hips forward and back and allow the left leg to adjust so that the angle of the foot and the leg is comfortable. Roughly, the heel or the arch of the foot is in line with the right knee. It doesn't have to be too far from the body, and if your right knee is not on your mat, you might want to just scoot over so that the right knee is supported. The next time the hips come towards the heels, let them hover so there is a sense of work happening, but really fun work. And then gently push down into the shin and start to round the spine like cat pose. Gaze down at the knee. And let the hips slowly glide forward on top of the knee so the shoulders stack over the wrists. And then reverse that. Send the hips back to the heels, but let them hover so you're still working. And then push down into the shins so the strength of the leg translates up towards the core as you round forward. The next time the hips come back to the heels, we're going to add in those back circles. So drag the hands back just like you did in Cobra, and then as the hips push forward, allow the arms to circle back to the table. So it's the same exact movement that you were doing, but now we're adding arm circles. And there is a moment of almost having to catch yourself with the hands and just let the elbows bend so there's a lot of ease and no strain here. The next time the hips come back towards the heels, we'll continue with the arm circle, but this time push down into the knees so that you can take the arm circle all the way up to standing on the knees. And then hip back to heels, arms go forward, and then as they glide back, push down into the shins, stacking the spine over the knees. Make any adjustments with the extended leg, especially if it's getting tired of being out there. It's fine to bend the knee and point the toes out if that's more comfortable. The next time you're up, shift the weight into the right knee. Keep the arms to T to help with balance, and slowly bring the left foot in front of the right with really short knees. Yeah, you guys look great. If this is really easy for you, make sure the foot and the knee are in line. It should feel really wobbly, and if it doesn't, that's awesome. You have very strong, balanced hips. Closing the eyes can help make it feel more wobbly. And we recently put our slack line up, and I definitely cannot do lunges on the slack line, but this is how I feel when I'm just trying to stand on the slack line. And it's really good for your hips. So smile a little bit and be patient. And if you're totally rock solid and holding it, close the eyes, because that little bit of wobbling is just helping those deep hip stabilizers strengthen. Slowly shift the weight into the front foot and then into the front heel. And to bring the weight into the front heel, there's a sense of sending the hips back a little bit and push down into the left foot until you can extend the right leg behind you. We're going to take a moment to find Virabhadrasana 1. And so take some bounces into the front leg, stepping the right foot a little wider, a little closer to you, until you find a place that feels really supported in the pelvis. When you find that place, test it by bending the front knee and circling the arms up for a moment. And then maybe try 1 or 2 more places. Even if you've done Virabhadrasana 1 10 billion times, you might find something. So give yourself that possibility that it can feel different. And then I'm going to assume you found something, so pause there, and let's add in that back circle with the arms. So the arms drop, and imagine that moment when you were in cobra, and the hands were dragging down, and the body really lengthened, and then allow the arms to circle behind you, and pause for a moment at the top. Shift the weight into the front foot, and step the front foot forward for Virabhadrasana 1 on the other side. And then just take one of those arm circles so they drop in front of you. As the arms reach down, the spine can really lengthen. And then the arms circle up behind you, just an extension of your strong back and front. And then slowly shift the weight into the front foot. Step the left foot forward to meet it and just start to sway from side to side. Soften the arms so the shoulders get a little break. And then keep swaying. Almost imagine you're wagging your tail here because you're very, very happy. And let the hips lower as you keep wagging your tail. Eventually, let the hips come all the way down. Extend the legs out. Shift any amount forward or back so you're somewhat centered. And then bend the knees, melt over the legs. And just like we did before, take a few rounds of gliding the hands up and down the legs, coming further and further back each time until you effortlessly end up on your back. And you don't have to come back up, but you can, because sometimes it's fun. Nice. And then we'll all rest. Mandatory rest. Arms can be down beside the body or overhead, whatever is most comfortable for your shoulders. And just take a moment to be still, to observe the breath. Notice any sense of awareness at your center and the limbs connecting to that space. And we'll go through that same sequence on the second side. So start by snow angeling, arms overhead. Give a little wiggle to the fingers and toes. Elbows and knees touch, gliding crunch up. And then slowly recline, feet down, elbows down, and then just let knees and palms open. Slowly kick out through the legs. Make sure the hip flexors are nice and relaxed. Snow angel the arms overhead. And then repeat the sequence. Once you've got the hang of it, You're welcome to go at your own pace and almost try to think of it as one continuous movement. It's almost like drawing a figure eight with the whole body and really pausing in the middle of the figure eight to do some other weird stuff. And the next time the whole body extends, just pause there and then start to bend the right knee, right hand to thigh, and ever so gently push hand and thigh together. And notice if you have a tendency to want to like over muscle it. Some of us are wired like that. See if you can resist that. Less really is more here. The less you muscle it, the more smaller muscles can start to turn on. Let the knee and hand open off to the side. And then flex the right foot and gently start to kick out through the heel, letting the leg rest on the ground so there's not too much effort there. Arm reaches overhead. And then glide right leg across the body, slowly coming to the left side. Take a couple of bounces in the right foot, pushing into the ball of the big toe. And then slowly roll all the way onto the back, push thigh and hand together, and then let it fall out to the side. Just one more time, extending arm and leg, and then gliding the right leg over the body, and this time coming all the way onto the belly, but just letting that right leg keep tracking off to the right. Hands overhead, start to glide the hands back, reaching the heart forward, padangustasana, and then keep circling the arms back behind you, and then forward once again. Recline the body, and then repeat. So as the hands drag back, it peels your body off the mat, and then keep circling. So there's a sense of the strength of your body anchoring into the arms, or rather the arms anchoring into the strength of your body. Take one more circle. Nice. The next time the hands drag back, push into the palms, send the hips back to the heels, and then just gently shift the hips forward and back just a few degrees each direction so that you can adjust the right leg to a place that feels really supported, where there's no strain on the knee. And then the next time the hips start to push back, push them all the way towards the heels, and notice the sense of having to support yourself with your core. And then push down into the shins, slowly rolling forward into cat pose with the leg out. And just take a couple of these. And notice how the movement can really originate from that left leg. And that left leg continues to support you and send signals into the core even as the weight shifts forward. And the next time the hips come back, we'll add in the circle so the arms circle back, and then as you push into the legs, the arms dive forward, and there's just a little bit of spring in the elbows so they catch you. And then next time hips come back, same action, but we're going to push down into the left leg, letting the front of the left hip extend. And the next time you're up, pause for a moment, shift the weight into the left knee, and slowly step the right foot in front of the left, just like you're on a slack line or a balance beam. And the arms can come to T. Unless you feel really solid here, then to make it harder, bring your hands behind your head. Feel free to close the eyes. If that's still feeling really easy, you can shift the weight a little bit to throw off your balance, and then it's a little bit harder to refine it. What? Okay. And then let arms come to T. Bring the weight into the right heel so the hips go back a little bit. Power into the right foot until you can extend the left leg behind you and bring the heel down. And then just take a couple of shifts, walking that foot in and out until the pelvis feels supported, Sweep the arms up and just pause. And then try again, maybe a little wider stance where the feet are almost toward the right and left side of the mat. And then we'll add in the backward circle. So the arms drop. And as they reach behind you, the whole front of the body opens. And then shift the weight into the front foot. Step the left foot forward into Virabhadrasana 1 and just take one back circle. So arms drop and reach behind you. Pause at the top. And then shift the weight into the left foot. Step the right foot forward. Drop the arms and just pause for a moment. Close the eyes. Bring your awareness to the soles of the feet and just notice any sense of support in the 3 points of each foot, center of the heel and inner and outer edge of the ball of each foot. And then start to wag your tail and bend your knees at the same time. The arms can swing as the body sways. Keep the weight in the heels so there's no pressure in the knees, and we're just shifting in our malasana. This keeps a lot more support in the hip sockets and the ankles so we don't just drop down and hang on our ligaments. And then eventually, when the hips are all the way down, you can bring them to meet the earth. Extend the legs in front of you. Reposition yourself so you can lay back comfortably and just begin melting forward and melting back a little bit or a lot. But make sure the decision is coming from what the body wants and not a sense of like more is better. And then because it's easier, before you recline, you're welcome to have a sip of water or hit play on the next track. And then whenever you have finished those things, we'll meet on our back. We'll just arrive for a moment, tune into sensation in the body and in the breath. And we'll go through that same sequence again, of course, adding some new things on, but as any part becomes more familiar, see if you can move a little smoother with more control and more awareness. Begin by gently circling arms overhead and then curling knees and elbows in. Glide the hands up, coming up a little higher, and then reverse all of that down. Let the knees open with control and then kick everything out. We'll just do that one more time. Next time, the whole body extends. Bend the left knee, hand to thigh, gentle pressure, and then allow the knee to start to point off to the side. Extend arm and leg, cross the left leg over, and then bounce into the left toe. And this time, take that bounce all the way back to the fallen tree. And then kick the leg out, glide it over, and then point into the toe, trying to control your way to that fallen tree pose. One last time. The next time the left leg crosses, slowly roll onto the belly. We'll just take one of those back circles in Bhujangasana. And then the next time the hands begin to drag back, push into them, send the hips back to the heels. Let the left foot glide out any amount to the side. And then push down into the left shin, gliding the arms back. Let's come all the way up to our standing Parigasana and just take a few circles. So the hands drop as the hips send back, And then the hands glide back as the hips press forward. So there's a little bit of opposition happening. And the next time you're down, plant the hands and allow the left leg to glide off to the side any amount that you can with control. And then reverse that. So you have to hug the inner thighs together to pull the leg back in. And then the next time you do it, imagine the leg is being pulled back in all the way up by the belly button. And then the next time it's being pulled back in all the way up by the heart. And just try to feel that zipping up of the body as more and more of the core starts to connect to that leg, pulling it into center. The next time the leg pulls into center, push down, take one more of those back circles. And from standing on your knee, bring your hands behind your head and just start to explore padangustasana in this circular action. And only go as far as is comfortable, feeling control, like you're not going to fall. Go the opposite direction. It's okay to let the hips crease as you fold forward. And then come back to center, flatten the right toes underneath, and bring the left foot in front of the right knee. And same as before, make any adjustments to make this more challenging for yourself. A shorter stance with the left heel closer to the thigh is quite challenging. Make sure you can breathe. Try to close the eyes. And then shift the weight into the left heel, so the hips really have to go back to do that. Release the arms to T and slowly power into the left leg. Step the right foot back. Virabhadrasana 1. And since we've had practice, we can go into the back circle right away. So the hands drag back, the front of the body opens, and then slowly glide the arms up overhead. Let's just do one more of those. Arms drop. You can relax forward slightly and then push into the foot as the arms reach back. So there's a sense of the whole body expanding. Shift the weight into the left foot and step the right foot forward and wide. Let's just do that one more time with the right leg in front. And as the arms come overhead, shift the weight into the right foot. Find a drishti, a steady gaze point, and slowly start to drag the left leg forward, but keep it on the ground. And notice how much the front body has to engage to drag the leg, and then lift it any amount. Slowly start to circle the leg off to the side. It's okay if it's a lot lower. And then bend the knee, hand to thigh, just like we did on the ground. Slowly push the thigh up and the hand down, and just notice how high that left leg wants to go without shifting the hips off to the side. And then step the left foot back to Virabhadrasana 1. Circle the arms back. And that's our sequence that we're going to repeat a couple of times. So the weight shifts forward, left leg drags, round about to our high tree, and then back to Vira 1, back circle. The next time the foot steps back to Vira 1, bend the back knee and extend the front leg so that you can unload the front leg that's been working so hard. So you're shifting the weight back into the left hip, the left knee bends, and the hips crease slightly. Yeah, take a couple of pulses. Doesn't have to be very far, and just make sure that back knee feels okay. And then start to notice how you can use that to launch forward into the right foot. And take as many test runs as you need to eventually pause in like a baby Virabhadrasana 3 once you've got the hang of the balance. Nice. And from that Vira 3, bend the front knee, kick out into the left foot so much that the toes start to turn, and then slowly lower the left foot down for Virabhadrasana 2. Turn the toes, all 10 toes to center. Bend into the left knee a little bit, sending the hips back and reach the arms forward as a counterbalance. and then push into the left foot, letting the whole body open up. Turn the right toes back out to Viratu. And take a couple of pulses like this and notice the sense of keeping a lot of weight in the left heel so there's no pressure in the knee, and then feeling the whole body emanate from the center of your being to this really integrated Virabhadrasana 2. And so often a lot of our weight is in our front foot in Virabhadrasana 2. And so notice a sense of having a lot more connection into that left leg than you might be used to. Feel free to pause in Viratu for just a moment. If you want to hold steady and breathe or gently snake the spine, that's fine. And then turn the feet, slowly start to crouch down till you can bring your hands to the ground and lower the left knee, lower the left hip. Gently bow forward for a moment with the right leg off to the side. And then walk the hands in, glide the right knee in to meet the left. Shift the hips down till you're centered on your mat and a little bit forward, and slowly release the left arm towards the edge of your mat that's closer to the screen. Big circle with the right arm overhead, and let that just peel the heart open until the shoulders and then the hips square on the mat, and extend the legs. And just pause on the back. As we prepare for the second side, we did add a lot on, so let's just take a moment of spaciousness to let our body absorb all of that. And we'll begin the second round on the second side. So arms sweep overhead. Slowly bend elbows and knees, gliding crunch. And then reverse that motion into Baddha Konasana where knees fall out to the side. Kick everything out and just do that one more time as smooth and effortlessly as possible. Imagine that you could just do this over and over again as easily as walking. And the next time, the legs extend, bend the right knee, hand to thigh just for a moment. And just give enough pressure that you feel the connections into the core, but no overexertion. And then right knee opens off to the side, arm reaches overhead. Gently kick out through the back of the leg, gliding the heel long. And then point the toe across the body. Pause on the left side and push into the right toe all the way open to fallen tree. And then we'll just do that one last time. Cross the leg over the body. And this time roll all the way onto the belly. Drag the hands back into our back circle cobra. And then drag the hands back, but just push into them to send the hips back to the heels. Push down into the shin, rolling forward into the cobra, or the cat. And then push the hips back and add the back circle, coming all the way up to kneeling, circling the arms behind you, and just do a couple of those. Really trying to feel the connections of the limbs anchoring into the body, being evenly supported by the body. The next time you come up, pause, reach up, push down into the knee and the foot to get a little length. And then slowly control your way down, hands underneath shoulders, and let the right foot slide off to the side. And then use your strength to glide it back in. And we'll do this a few times, and each time you glide the right leg back in, try to feel more and more muscles in the center of the body, pulling it in. Don't worry about how far out the right leg goes. Rather, It's much more interesting to have more things engaged to pull it back. The next time it pulls back in, press the hips back to the heels, push down into the left knee, back circle up one more time, and then fingertips behind ears, and we just start to explore padangustasana in this circular way. And you can always make adjustments with the right leg, especially if the right knee feels uncomfortable here. Try turning the toes out and bending the knee a little bit, or changing the angle of the foot, or pushing a little extra through the outer edge of the right foot so that lateral line supports you a little bit more. Go the opposite direction. And then come up. Keep hands behind your head or split arms to T as you bring the right leg into our slack line lunge. Do whatever you need to do to make this interesting and challenging for yourself. Try using your breath to stabilize from the inside out. And then shift the weight into the right heel so the hips go back. Arms to T, power into the right leg. Let the left leg unfold behind you. Virabhadrasana 1, circle the arms back and up. Do that one more time, melting forward and then circling the arms back and up, letting the whole front of the body open. And then shift the weight, step the left foot forward, bend the left knee, same thing on the second side. And then we add on our balancing sequence. So with arms overhead, shift the weight into the left foot. Keep the right foot down as you slowly start to drag it forward. Find your drishti. Lift the leg any amount that feels comfortable. And then slowly circle it out to the side. Bend the knee, hand to thigh. And just gently push hand and thigh together, standing up tall as you do that. And then step the foot behind you and take a moment in Virabhadrasana 1, and then repeat. So the leg circles forward and then open to high tree, and then behind you for Virabhadrasana 1. So we really get an exploration of that right hip from all directions. You can pause anywhere that's interesting to you. Make sure you can breathe. And the next time the right foot steps behind you, pause there, scooch the right foot in a little bit, maybe half as far as it was, and then start to bend the right knee as you extend the left leg so the hips go back. And just take a couple of pulses here, and the foot might need to come in even more, whatever it takes to be really comfortable on the right knee. And think of this as a moment to offload the left leg, right? So you're putting all the weight back in the right hip, and the left leg gets a little break. And then start to play with using that pivot to launch more weight onto the left leg. I like to tuck my hands in as my knee bends and then shoot my hands behind me as the weight shifts. You can always pause in Vira 3 or just keep playing with the bounces. Don't worry, we'll have time for many more Virabhadrasana 3s in the next round. So the next time you shift, find your drishti and then start to kick into the right foot. Let the right toes turn out and keep kicking until you can slowly lower down and let the foot land for Virabhadrasana 2. Yes, it's like magic. All of your feet just landed in the right place. Turn the left toes in and start to bring the weight into the right heel, shifting the hip back, and then push into the right foot. Turn the left toes out. Virabhadrasana 2. And just take a couple of those inflations to really feel the body expand and open into Virabhadrasana 2 from this very deep centered connection, almost directly to the spine. Nice. Yeah. And then feel free to pause in Vira 2, add in any little movements or enjoy the stillness and just follow the breath. And then we turn the feet. We slowly start to crouch. Bring the hands down. Bring the knee down. Flatten the foot. And just take a moment to bow forward, letting the legs release, letting the spine release. Only do this if it feels comfortable. This should be a moment of like, I did it. And then gently walk the hands in so the body comes upright. Bend the left knee, shift the hips towards the center of the mat, whatever direction that might be, and then forward towards the long edge of the mat. Right hand slides down, and then left arm just gently matches it and circles behind you. So the shoulders square, and then the hips, and then the knees. And then just pause for a moment. Legs can extend. Let this be a moment of effortless experience. And then we can go to the next track. We can have our sip of water, whatever you need to prepare for the lightning round. Just kidding. It's like gonna be pretty much the same, but you'll have some fun options. Barely. And so begin by circling the arms overhead, wiggling fingers and toes, and then pause for a moment in this long line and just connect with the breath. And slowly bend knees and elbows, feeling yourself effortlessly come up into the gliding crunch, and then recline back down. Let the knees fall out to the side, but notice a sense of support and not just letting go. Kick everything out, extending. Feel free to pause and then take one more of that sequence. Exploring the angles of the hips with so much support and ease. The next time you extend, left knee bends, palm to thigh, just gentle pressure, and then let the hand and foot fall off to the side. Extend foot and hand, and gently glide the left leg over. Push into the left toe, opening all the way to that fallen tree. And then extend the leg, cross it over, and this time we roll all the way on to the belly. Drag the hands back. This is our last round of back bends, so we'll have an option to just repeat that one more time. And if you want to come up a little higher and the body feels ready, push into the hands and gently let the front of the body lengthen any amount. And then slowly recline the body down. Drag the hands just back a little further and push into them to send the hips back to the heels. Push down into the shin. Drag the hands back slowly. Back circle the arms as the body stacks all the way up to kneeling. And then fingertips behind the ears as we circle in padangustasana. And the leg can move around as you need to feel really supported and comfortable in the hips. And then come to center, arms to T. And because we've done so much balancing and stabilizing, see if you can hover that left knee and slowly bring it in front with control. Take a moment in your slackline lunge, option to close the eyes. Shift the weight into the left heel, hips back, power into the left foot, step the right foot nice and wide and back, and then circle the arms back just one time, Virabhadrasana 1. And then shift the weight into the left foot, swing the right foot forward, same thing. Second side back, circle with the arms. And now for our full balancing sequence. We'll shift the weight into the front foot and start just the way we did before. Glide the left leg forward, hands and foot forward. Circle arms and leg off to the side. High tree, option for the hand there or not. If you've got it, you can just keep lifting the foot. And then step the left foot back. Virabhadrasana 1, but then bend the left knee and take a moment to shift the weight and launch forward into your Virabhadrasana 3. Push into the right foot, kick out through the left toes so much that as you bend the right knee, you can lower into Virabhadrasana 2, but then turn the feet and go right into that squat. Power into the left foot, opening into Vira 2, and then drop the left hand, push into the ball of the left foot so you can re-square the hips because we're going to do it again. So that's the whole balancing sequence. We start from here, drag the left leg forward, and open. Each time you can play with letting that left knee lift higher as long as it doesn't throw off the balance of the hips. And then circle the left foot behind you, bend the left knee, shift the weight for a moment, and launch to Virabhadrasana 3. From Vira 3, left foot lowers, and then now that you know it, just turn the toes right away and go right into the crouch, and then expand open to Vira 2. Drop the hand as the hips square, and we'll do that a couple more times. And now I want you guys to get to play a little bit. So if there's anything that you want to add on or hold or explore a little more deeply, you're welcome to. Maybe there's a balance pose that you're working on. Your body might be very ready for it. You can also play with some lower squats for a little bit of mobility in the inner leg line. We'll just take one last moment, and if you don't know what to do, just stay where you are and breathe. We'll all meet in Virabhadrasana 2. So you can take your time. Wow, you guys were pretty much there. So let's just pause for a moment. And then slowly turn the right toes in. Slowly squat into the left leg. Drop the hands. But this time walk the hands over to the left. Rotate on the right foot so you can square your hips towards the short edge of the mat. And then drop your shin. We'll add on a little pigeon here. So tuck the left heel underneath the body so your knee is not at much of an angle. And square the hips. If you want a moment of, oh yeah, let's do this, this is cool. We'll do a back circle here. So hug the inner thighs together, drag the arms back, and let the whole front of the body open as the arms circle back and up. And then you can pause there, or you can just take that right into everybody's favorite moment, the sleeping pigeon. And then just gently press up. Walk the hands in, push into the hands like a push-up, and glide the left knee over to the edge of the mat. Stack the legs, left arm down. Pause for a moment on the side, and then slowly reach the right arm forward, up, and back, rolling onto the back. Extend the legs, and just pause. We prepare to do the whole thing on the final side. So this is no surprises now. And so take a moment to just relax into the breath, relax into the warmth and the preparation in the body. And we'll see if this very last flow can be as effortless as possible. Reach arms overhead. Gently bring elbows and knees together, gliding up. And then release everything down. We'll just do one of these open to Baddha Konasana. Extend everything out. And then right knee and hand touch gently. Open off to the side. Extend. Cross the right leg over. And then bounce through that right foot all the way into fallen tree. Last one, leg extends, crosses over, and now we roll all the way on to the belly. Drag the hands back, big circle. Option for a higher cobra if the body feels ready for it. If you're taking a higher cobra, drag your hands back a little bit more and try to reach the heart through as you lift up to decompress the low back. And then recline, push into the hands, send the hips all the way back. Push down into the left shin, slowly circling the arms back as you come up to padangustasana. And then interlace the hands behind the head and start to circle the body, allowing the hips to crease any amount. Bring particular attention to the side bodies and then the back body, whatever is working to support you. And then the next time you come up, shift the weight into the left knee and play with a sense of just balancing on that left knee as you direct the right foot slowly in front of the left. And then take a moment in your lunge or continue that one kneed exploration. Open the arms to T. Shift the weight back into the hips and the right heel. Power into the right leg to expand the left. Circle the arms back. Virabhadrasana 1. And then swing the left leg forward. Virabhadrasana 1 on the other side. And now we're ready for our balancing sequence. So take one moment just to feel the breath supporting you from the inside. Let your focus shift to a single point and begin by dragging the right leg forward and the hands forward. Slowly open off to the side, bend the knee, lift the right knee any amount, and then step the right foot back, bend the right knee and shift the weight and launch into Vira 3. Kick into the right foot, let the right toes turn and lower, and then shift the weight all the way down into the crouch, and then expand through the whole body, opening the left toes back to Vira 2. To get back to the beginning, point into the right toes, square the hips, air guitar the right arm down and forward, and then glide the right leg to begin the sequence again. So once you've got the hang of it, ignore me, go at your own pace, and add anything in, subtract anything, and try to allow this to feel as supported and easy as possible. So you're not holding, you're not gripping, you're just exploring what is available. And keep tuning into the breath. Feel free to pause anywhere. And we'll just take one more moment and then we can meet in Vira 2, but don't rush to get there. Just let yourself eventually arrive. Check in with the breath. The breath soothe you from the inside. Nice. From Vira 2, turn the feet, bend the right knee, slowly crouch any amount, and then as you need to lower the hands, lower the knee, and turn to face the other edge of the mat for pigeon on the second side. So now bring the right knee in between the hands, swivel the shin just a little bit, just a few degrees, so there's not too much strain in the knee or the hip flexors, or rotators rather. Push the hips back, release the knee down, and then hug inner thighs together so everything's integrating into the core. Drag the hands back. Back circle and pigeon. Feel free to linger there as long as you want to. And then release forward. Sometimes it's nice to just keep swaying and to bring a little pressure into that front shin. Kick the shin into the mat so that the right hip stays buoyant, just so we don't overstretch anything. And then push into the hands to slowly come back up. Lift the back knee, lift the right leg like a three-legged plank, slide the shin over to the left and bring the right hip down. Bring the left leg in front and just take a moment to pause. And notice sensations in the hips. And then just gently extend one leg at a time. And this can be really uncomfortable, so give yourself permission to tent your hands behind you, almost to give more space to the hips, more space to the spine. And take a moment to just glide, almost like a pendulum, swinging the legs in and out. And so the legs are only going as far out as you can take them muscularly, right? It's like you can only go there with strength rather than like pushing. And you can continue doing that if it feels good. If you feel like you want to try sitting upright, you're welcome to walk the hands in, but just notice if this happens. And if that happens, just enjoy having a long spine. Keep shifting the weight from side to side, exploring a sense of opening the hips from the front. If you can sit up tall and it feels good, you can play with walking the hands from side to side in front of you. I don't really recommend just going deep into it and holding, but rather just have a sense of exploring, nice and slow, almost like you're just going for a walk and it's a really nice day and you're taking your time and enjoying the scenery. Make sure you can breathe. And then when you feel balanced, come back to center and sit up nice and tall. You're welcome to lean back or just notice if it feels a little easier to sit up tall. And then tuck your hands behind your knees so you can just gently support the legs as they bend. And bring the soles of feet in front of you as if you're like standing in Tadasana. Plant the hands behind you and just take a moment to gently lift the hips and guide the thighs towards one another in a sense of just pulling everything to center. Hips can be as low or as high as you'd like. Think of your body like a hammock where just like gently swaying. Everything's really supple. And then extend the legs in front of you. Squeeze everything together and just feel that integrated strength, almost as if the body was just one muscle. You're like a snake. Everything is connected. You can even just gently snake from side to side, keeping the legs connected. And notice that sense of integration. The arms can float up or they can stay low. And then just let everything soften and support your way towards a comfortable seated position. If you've got a blanket or a cushion that you would like to use, you're more than welcome to. And if you haven't paused the music, now is a great time. So take a moment to notice the legs and the hips and the core and any sense of clarity and support that you have in this posture. A sense of the back of the body and the front of the body evenly supporting you, and ease in the hips even as they externally rotate. And from this very supported posture that you've earned through 70 minutes of focus and breath and conscious movement, again, let your focus resettle on the breath. And let everything soften and fade to the background as you bring as much interest and curiosity to the breath as you can. And we'll start our breath exploration by attaching a sacred mantra has been given to this lineage by Swami Muktananda. And the mantra is Hum Sa. It's our natural breath mantra. And that continuously happens with the breath, but also guides us to a deeper state of connection to the inner self. And so each time the breath comes in, repeat the sound hum. H-A-M, simple and clear. And each time the breath naturally flows out, repeat the syllable sa. S-A-H. And there is something a little abbreviated and short about the hum. And there's so much space in the sa. Can really allow the exhale to lengthen and soften and take you more deeply inside. And the breath is the most essential part of our physical existence. We can live for weeks without food and days without water, but only moments without breath. So as you repeat the mantra and anchor into this deep primordial place, try to feel a reverence inside for this powerful force that supports you endlessly. You're welcome to stay upright for as long as it's useful to you. And you're also welcome to make your way onto your back for Shavasana. And if there's any last movements that the body wants, especially something like a bridge pose, could be really nice just to release the front of the hips, a little bit of rocking side to side, or whatever your body is craving. For the last portion of class, whether you're lying down or seated, in either case, allow yourself to relax as deeply as possible. Imagine that you don't even have a body and you're just a cosmic flow of the breath. Notice your breath. And it might be its most relaxed and natural at this moment. And see if you can maintain that sense of ease with the breath as you start to come more fully back into the physical body. Imagine your breath is what's really holding everything together. All the pieces of your physical body, but also the layers of body, mind, and spirit. Make any gentle movements. With as much ease and fluidity as you can, find your way back up. And we'll meet with hands at the heart. Thank you all so much for practicing. It was really fun to see each of your bodies embody these movements so uniquely. Have a wonderful week and hope to see you guys really soon. Of course, email me if you have any questions. Otherwise, aloha, and that's all I have to say. Thanks for coming. Take care. Absolutely. Aloha. Oh, perfect, Diana. I can ask you, were you able to do that thing today, or should I cancel the meditation for tomorrow? Your mountain time, and has it been at 10 a.m.? So now it'll be at 11. Cool. Wow. Okay. Great. Yeah, whatever works for you. It's really flexible. It's